wrote a total of about 12 westerns. He won a Pulitzer Prize for one of them, called The Way West. But this book, I mean, if you ever get a chance, I don't know if you're much of a reader, Jack. I don't think you are, really, are you?
You know what it is that I have a lot of books. I mean, I have a plethora, and I'm going to use the word plethora in the correct usage. When people say plethora, they tend to use it as a synonym for like a lot. Plethora actually means an overabundance. So the reason why I say that is because I have way too many fucking books that I don't read.
Well, thank you for our English lesson for the show.
Well, listen, somebody's got to learn once in a while. The thing is no, I buy a lot of books, and I just can't really sit down. I don't have the focus, man. I don't have the focus to read, but, you know, well, I read snippets.
Well, I'm going to give you a quick review since this is the first episode, and we don't have a movie this week because we didn't. We'd like for the listeners to be able to have time to watch the movie that we're going to review. That's why we're giving our first movie selection at the end of this show, so you have time to watch it throughout the week for next week's show when we'll review it and talk about the movie. But this week, obviously, the first
and there will be a test.
Being the first week, of course, there will be. It'll be multiple choice though.
A pop quiz.
Yeah, but this week I'm just gonna do a quick review of the book, The Big Sky. And let me tell you about it. First off, it's a long book. It's a long book, but the guy, I don't know. I like to write myself. I write some fiction stuff. I've never written anything Western, but reading this book or listening to it is what I did. I listened to the audio book because I don't read shit. I don't have time for that. I like to walk around my neighborhood and listen to the book. But if I had to write a blurb, if I was given the opportunity to write a blurb to put right up, if I was a famous author or somebody that they might give a shit that they wanted a blurb on the front of their book, it would be this. Ready? It would be, do you like the N-word? Because you're gonna love this book. That would be my blurb, and I go right on the cover because I mean they say the N-word about 600 times in this book. And I'm not even joking. And like,
really?
Yeah. And I'm not even like, they don't even, most of the time, they aren't even talking about African Americans. I don't know if it was like, I know that the guy who wrote the book, A.B. Guthrie, is an actual literary historian and Western historian. So he probably knows a hell of a lot more than I do. But,
right.
But they use the N-word to talk about themselves. The book is about just three, the three main characters are just these three old white cowboys, and they called themselves that. The three cowboys did. They would be like,
right.
They'd be like, man, this N-word is hungry for some beaver right now, you know. And they also, for some reason, they ate a shitload of beaver in that book. That was like their main.
And it wasn't.
That was like their main delicacy. No, they weren't talking about women or anything. They were talking about food. But they would say that's how they would talk. Be like, man, this N-word could use some of this, or this N-word wants to go hunting, or something like that. Like they would refer to themselves as that, and I didn't know. Like I'd never heard that before in my life. But I mean, this book was published in 1940.
How do you think it tastes?
Beaver? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a gamey?
Watery?
I gotta look that up, man. Huh?
I said watery. I don't know.
Watery. Yeah, I wonder how that tastes.
I don't know. They ate it. In the book, it seemed like all they ever ate through the entire book was beaver, buffalo, and goat. That was like their main things. And there was also a couple instances where they ate human meat. I mean, like if somebody died or something, and they were out in the mountain. The book was about mountain men. Like, it was the guy was it started. I mean, the book was, I guess I would call it like an epic. Because it wasn't about like a single story or event or something like that. It was about this dude's life from beginning to near end. I mean, like,
would it make a good movie?
No, it wouldn't. I mean, it might make a good.
No?
It might make a good mini series because it would take a lot more than 2 hours. Because it started off, the kid was
really?
The kid was 17 years old. He had an abusive father. The very first chapter of the book was him. telling his father, he's like, if because he got in trouble at school or something, and his father said he was going to beat him, and he told him, he's like, if you hit me again, he's like, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back, I'm getting out of here. He's like, you ain't going nowhere. I'll have the law after you. And then his dad like took him outside, and he was like, here, you're getting what you deserve, and he was trying to hit him, and he took off running, and when he got to this wood pile and picked up a big old log and turned around and just beat his dad over the head with it and knocked him out. And then took his dad's prize rifle and ran away from home. Never saw him again. So, but he ran away from home. Then it's just all about all these damn Western shenanigans he gets into. He gets arrested, and I mean he.
Hey, hold on, move your pop filter a little bit.
Oh, right here. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you're shaking something, and as you're shaking it,
yeah, it's my knee. I get my knees get the fidgeting and stuff, and
yeah.
But yeah,
no, it's fine. I just hear the.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, he would. He just went on all these adventures. It was about this kid's. It was basically at its very. Its most simplest form. It was about a boy turning into a man. And him running away from home, and then him basically becoming like this hardened Western mountain man, and he became sort of like a fur trapper, and then he joined this group of traders, and he was trading with the Blackfoot Indians, and then he fell in love with this Indian girl, and it's an epic, but there was like
it's a frontier epic.
Yeah, frontier. It was all about. It was all about how the West was expanding, and it started off like he was. Yeah. It started off like he was expanding west too, and he was living off this land and everything. And then as the book went on, it was like more and more colonials started showing up, and everybody was like ruining the land. And at this point, he was living with the Blackfoot Indians because he was married to a squaw. And
what year is this set?
It starts off in about 1830, I think, and then goes to about 1860, 1870.
Okay. I was gonna say that it sounds it's like very Jeremiah Johnson-ish. Mm-hmm. If you've never seen Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford, it's about it's all frontier stuff. People living in the mountains, living off the land. Mm-hmm. They were doing that for a long time. And then they would do fur trading.
Mm-hmm. And then as the colonials start moving in, and all the game starts disappearing. Towards the end of the book, they're like they can't find a beaver to save their damn life, and they don't know where all the buffalo are anymore, and it's just him being like these sons of bitches, moving in and taking all this shit, and really at the bottom line is he was one of those first sons of bitches. You know what I mean? The people who came after him was just doing the same thing he was doing. But there was so many times in the book where it was just like constantly like, well, you should have been here years ago. It's all changing now. But it made me think of how it made me think about how. People still do that to this day, you know what I mean? Like your grandpa would be like, ain't like it used to be. But there was a whole lot of that through the whole book. It ain't like it used to be. But, Sorry.
Is that on your end still?
Yeah, it's on my end. It's on my end.
Okay. I'll break down the fourth wall. I'll just ask. I was asking Cole how much time's left.
Yeah, it's all right. We got till about. We got about 8 minutes left, but we can go a couple minutes over if you want.
Here's the thing. It's a podcast. It's not a radio show. We don't have to really go by it.
It's not like somebody's waiting to use a studio. So.
Well, there could be.
There actually is.
Yeah. Well, there could be.
Yeah.
See, we do have time limits. They're called girlfriends.
Yeah.
Or wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. It's it's gonna have. We want to typically, I guess, keep it about an hour. Most podcasts, you can see podcasts ranging from 45 minutes to an hour, 2 hours. They don't have, I think me and you are on the same page where we want to try to keep it the same every week.
Just keep about as much information as you can packed into a short. You don't want to get long and drawn out, and you don't want to start getting flat and boring. Like I was just talking about The Big Sky. That was awfully boring. So we're already running.
I didn't want to say, hey, shut the hell up. Nobody gives a shit about The Big Sky. But it was just reminding me of Jeremiah Johnson. And there's another aspect you have, when you're into the Old West or you're into stuff like that, there's more to it. There's also like the frontier aspect. Mm-hmm. And there's the people,
and the Indians
Daniel
too,
Boone fucking hats.
Yeah.
There's all that.
I grew up in Oklahoma, which they call Native America. That's like the sort of tagline for the state, and it's just completely packed full of reservations and Indians. My peepaw he's not blood related. He's my step grandpa, but he is full blood Cherokee Indian. And it's just like most of my family down there got Cherokee blood in them. I certainly don't look like it. I'm a ginger dude, but everybody I grew up with a whole bunch of Indians. In Oklahoma.
Yeah, my girlfriend is Indian, and my ex-girlfriend is Indian. I've dated lots of Native American girls. I don't know why.
Were they drunks?
But no. But my son is his mom was she's Irish and like the tribe was like Siouan, I think they were called. There's some kind of the language they spoke was Siouan.
Siouani.
No, it was like Siouxan.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Something like that. Like
that was the big threat from as far as Indians goes in the Big Sky was the Sioux Indians. Those guys were real motherfuckers.
The Sioux, yeah. But this language is called Siouan, so I don't know. What I don't really know a lot about the culture, which is funny because you should know a lot about the culture living in the same country.
Exactly.
We should, but it's because my family came over from Ireland, and we just typically we're living in a little Irish bubble, so
Well, okay, but I want to move on, and I want to decide what our movie is going to be for next week, so everybody knows that they can check it out before we do the podcast next week and talk about the movie. So I have 3 suggestions here. I was just looking on Netflix today because I thought maybe the easiest way we'd be able to watch movies. I think just about everybody has Netflix, or most
know what
people
I think
do.
would be. Looking at the list that you gave El Dorado with John Wayne, Nevada Smith with Steve McQueen, and Jane Got a Gun with Natalie Portman. I think that the apropos one to go with what we were just talking about would be Nevada Smith, because as you have in the notes, Steve McQueen movie about a half white, half Native American man. So
yeah, all right. So I was kind of on the same page with you, especially after you told me that you've already seen El Dorado. And Jane Got a Gun, you said wasn't a very good movie. So I haven't seen any of these. Well, I'm sure I saw El Dorado at some point, but it's been a long, long time. But I'm with you, Nevada Smith. Well, I'm going to say Nevada because that's the way I pronounce it because I'm from the Midwest. Yeah. But Nevada Smith, 1966. It's a Steve McQueen movie, and I don't even know if I've ever watched a Steve McQueen movie. But I hear they're
Bullet.
Got a
You've
lot
never
of
seen Bullet?
I don't think so, man. I don't think I've ever seen a Steve McQueen movie.
Anyway, he's a man's man.
Anyway, this movie's about a half-white, half-Native American man named Nevada Smith that seeks to avenge the murder of his parents at the hands of a ruthless gangster named Tom Fitch. So that movie is on Netflix, Nevada Smith. And that's what we're going to be watching sometime during this week, and we're going to write down our thoughts on it. We're going to have a good, long discussion about Nevada Smith on next week's episode of Smoke Wagon.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Next, I'm just saying, like, there's stuff we have in the notes that we haven't talked about, so we will save it, and it's going to happen every week. Mm-hmm. Working out the kinks, we'll get our formats, a little bit better. We'll get it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
We'll work out all the kinks. We'll get everything down. So anyway, I want to put out our social media accounts. If you want to catch us on Instagram, we are at Smoke Wagon Radio. Actually, we're going to be at Smoke Wagon Radio basically on everything. We're on Twitter, we're on Periscope, Instagram, and I'm making a Facebook page for it, but I think that's also going to be Smoke Wagon Radio. Just search Smoke Wagon Radio and you'll find it.
On Periscope, it'll be Smoke Wagon Coal and Smoke Wagon Ox. So that's two different accounts for both of us.
Yeah,
We're gonna try to keep a solid recording schedule going on there too throughout the week, just so you can see our happy smiling faces every now and then. So
eventually, I plan on doing like little daily blogs, or not